Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor. We are going to talk about Luke Cage, Season 1, Episode 9. It's called DWYCK. Full spoilers for the episode. So, obviously, this had a lot to follow on from last week. Because we had
Mm,
the Look, I Am Your
last
Brother
episode.
last episode. I'm used to saying weeks when we review shows.
Yeah.
Give me peace. But so we had that to follow up on. We had everything with Misty to follow up on, and this episode was definitely a downbeat episode compared to the last few, where it was taking a bit of time to deal with everything that had went down.
Yeah, and it did do it all. They dedicate a lot of time to each thing, which is why it was a longer episode than most of them.
Yeah, Misty got a lot of time this episode. Misty, uh, I don't know if you'd call him a counsellor. I can't remember exactly what he says he is, but it's kind of like post traumatic incident,
Mm,
thing. But it's in the interrogation room, and she's like, yeah, I'm sure this has been recorded, and you kind of get the impression it is the whole time, but they actually wait until the end of it to reveal that the inspector is watching the entire
yeah.
conversation. But through that, we get a lot of her character, and we get a lot of things we brought up last episode about how she lost control and that's why she acted out. And this episode just kind of went through that and it just confirmed everything we thought. But it also gave us a lot of other things. It furthermore gave you reasons why she didn't notice Scarf was corrupt.
It did. It put because obviously I mentioned that a
Yeah, you
while
did.
back,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that it addressed that, frankly, because I did think it was a bit of an oversight. But now it's been addressed. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I mean, she sits and lists all the things that would be a tell sign, and none of it was happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah. It wasn't making big purchases, didn't have a new girlfriend, wasn't doing this and that.
Yeah.
Uh, so so that was cool, but obviously the bigger stuff is we get some more of her backstory and kind of the incident that kind of led her to being a detective, where
Yeah.
as a kid she left her friend alone when she wasn't meant to, and it resulted in her being raped and killed.
Yeah.
I didn't quite catch the age they were at the time.
I don't think she said.
Yeah,
I mean, you assume obviously young-ish because they're like the parents were saying don't go
yeah,
around the neighborhood alone. So you think maybe the 11 to 15 sort of range.
probably that seems most likely. Yeah,
That's the sort of age where you can probably go out, but not on your own.
yeah.
I'm just thinking.
But no, it was. I think mostly though, what was great about all this stuff is I think it was the acting again was really great,
Yeah,
especially from her. Although the guy was doing quite well too. I thought the way because she kept like saying, "Oh, you're interrogating me," or she was accusing him of that kind of thing, and he kept saying it's not an interrogation.
yeah,
And I loved it when she eventually did admit what she did wrong, like how she lost control and how it led to her acting out against Claire because she needed to take that control back. When she eventually admitted that moment of realization on her face, and then she sort of starts kind of crying almost, was very very well done.
that's not right. Because the whole episode, obviously, we said immediately, yeah, she lost control, and we said it was actually really obvious, and it was to everyone but her. She
Yeah,
genuinely didn't see it until right towards the end.
yeah. It was obvious to him. It was obvious to the inspector, everyone,
Yeah.
but not her. So no, that was a very very captivating story, which was essentially just two people in a room talking for probably a good 15 to 20 minutes of the whole runtime,
Yeah,
something in
probably.
that range. But then the inspector goes in to see her, and she grills her a little bit more and how that's unacceptable and so on. But ultimately leads to giving her her gun and badge back because she needs to focus on getting Luke Cage back.
Mm. But you can obviously throughout this, you can tell how much she's been affected because she keeps having flashbacks of Diamondback holding the gun.
Yeah, she does that thing where she's looking at the photographs and she goes into the scene, but
Yeah,
she's looking at herself like, crying and like on her knees, and she mentions him smelling and how that
mm.
added to her feeling not in control. So no,
Yeah, it's really powerful.
yeah, it was all good stuff. Meanwhile, Luke, of course, is still hurt and is arrived at a random place in the city. We have this really interesting scene where he's confronted by two policemen.
Do you know what? This had one of my biggest, not a problem, but a little quibble with the episode.
Okay.
So the policemen, they're coming up in the car behind, and they go, they're calling it in. They go, oh, we got someone walking drunk. Shall we question him?
Yeah, because
And
look, he's injured, so he's staggering as he's walking, so he looks
right.
drunk.
And the dispatcher says, check if it's the suspect. And they go, oh, it's a black male, but we can't get an ID. And it's like, how do they know it's a black male? Because he's got his hoodie up. He's behind, like, they're coming from behind.
His hands?
I mean, could they really even see them at that distance? Because they're not that close.
I don't know.
And
I'm just...
I don't know. I feel like that was a bit of a leap. Like, they couldn't really see that, I don't feel.
The hands are the one thing that would be exposed that you could see.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'd have to go back and watch it again to even know if I would fight you on this point, because I really don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. It was a small thing, but it just immediately made me go, are you sure he's a black male? Because, like, you're behind him, he's got a hood up.
But given a lot of recent news stories, coming from, the US specifically, this was a very, very interesting scene where the black male in question happens to be bulletproof. And of course he acts out very, like, because he apologises before he realises he has to fight them so that he doesn't get taken in. And he apologises before he does it, but after he knocks the first guy out, he shields him because he realises the other one's going to shoot at him.
Yeah, he knows exactly what's coming.
Yeah, and I did think him throwing him at the car was a little
bit
much.
over the top, yeah. I thought that as well.
Why couldn't he just tap him in the head like he did the other guy?
That's what I was thinking, because he's right up next to him. It's like, just give him a little flick in the head, knock him out.
Yeah, little flick,
Don't throw him across a street. Because it wasn't that close, the car.
Also, I love how the video of this incident from the dashboard cam goes viral, but whoever's leaked it has conveniently edited out all the stuff at the start with him shielding the cop. Like, it's just... No, this is just the clip of him throwing the guy at the car, not all the stuff before that clearly shows he's not trying to hurt anyone.
Well, it depends. Obviously, because he takes the car, right, and then presumably leaves it somewhere, and that's when they get the dash cam footage, unless it's uploaded.
I'd imagine it's uploaded, yeah. Probably streamed.
Right, in that case, it's someone with an agenda who's edited it.
Yeah, of course, that's what I mean.
So the question is who? Like, because it was, you'd assume if it's being uploaded, it would go to the police.
Well, yeah, of course.
It's their thing. So was it one of them that's edited it to show that? Or was it someone else who's got the footage, then edited it, and that's the bit that's gone viral?
I think when Shades or Diamondback, whoever, I think it's Shades who mentions that it's happened, or is it Zip? I can't remember. But they even say, I think it was the press that leaked it. Like, they got a hold of something and it was too much to contain.
Yeah.
But so that's, and Luke gets to Claire, and Claire's trying to figure out his cells and how his anatomy works so that she can try and like get these bullets out. And they realise that they have to go to the scientist who is responsible for his condition, who, the guy, the one at the prison who put him in the tank and all that. And they find him, they go to him, and we finally find out what's on that drive that Reva got in Jessica Jones. And flashbacks in Jessica Jones, we've seen her basically die for this.
Yeah.
And we finally get to see what's on there, and it's basically all of the scientific research and data and everything that would, facilitate doing this experiment again, and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they find him, and he's like, in disbelief at Luke, and they come up with this crazy plan to try and help him. They have to somehow get his skin to separate enough that they can cut into him so they can get the stuff out, which ends up involving dipping him in...
Boiling. He says boiling.
Does he say boiling?
He says the word boiling. He says boiling acid. Damn, that's got to be painful.
See, I almost said boiling acid, but that's not because I remembered him saying it. It's because I always remember the scene from Batman Forever where the stupid security guard goes, "It's boiling acid!"
And I always try to forget that scene.
And I always thought, why do you have to specify it's boiling? If it's acidic, it's acidic.
But in this, he specifies boiling acid. I think because part of the experiment was to do with temperature.
Yeah. No, here there's a reason for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're being stupid. I'm just... it reminds me of, it's boiling acid! Which is phenomenal bad scene. If you haven't seen it, but so this is their plan, and there's a lot of build up to them dunking him in the tank, and although I love how this scientist has this in his little barn. He's got like
Yeah, it's a full on like winch system to put him in and like lay him on a table to drop him in.
I mean, he mentions doing it on small animals. I'm like, okay, fair enough. I get that you'd have maybe the chemicals and you'd have the reading equipment and all that, but the idea that
this is person sized.
Yeah, he's got a full like gurney to put him on that will dunk into this thing. I'm like, you were prepared. Yeah,
you were waiting for someone to do this on, and that's a little concerning, frankly.
A little bit unnaturally. But so that actually leads to the big cliffhangers of the episode. Is he's getting dunked and it's not quite working, and he puts him back under, and we get that moment where he raises his fist to say that he's like, no, this is too much. I'm in pain. So I suspect we'll start the next episode with a threat of death, but obviously.
I'd guess that's potentially how it'll work anyway. When he dies, because he's essentially dead at this point, right? His heart stopped. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'd guess that maybe if he dies, his cells shut down,
and then they can resuscitate.
And then they can, because obviously they stop being elastic because they're not healing themselves or doing anything. So that's when they can cut in, get it out, and then, like you say, resuscitate him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Meanwhile, Mariah is not wanting to continue her criminal organisation, and she wants to try and make a deal with all of the other crime bosses to sell off all of Cottonmouth's, assets and, business, deals and various things.
Yeah.
And she gets all the crime bosses together. And I want to say Diamondback in this episode, he's only in 2 scenes, right? He's in one scene early on where he comes in, gives a speech or two, and shoots one person to prove that he can be deceptive, because he hides the gun sort of down in one hand while he makes It's actually a really fun scene because he just makes like a gun with his fingers and then shoots someone.
And it plays it for a second. It's like, wait, does he have powers? and then it's just like, no, it's just sleight of hand.
Yeah. But he's got 2 scenes, but his 2 scenes are very effective, because then when he shows up again at the end, when all the crime bosses are together and Mariah's there trying to sell off Cottonmouth's business, he comes in and kills almost everyone at the table.
Yeah.
The highlight of which, of course, is the shoot through the back of the neck to the other person.
Don't know, particularly like the knife to the face, frankly.
That was fine. Like, that was enjoyable, but it's through the neck.
Yeah, both very good.
I feel like I don't see the front of a neck exploding in blood as much.
No, you definitely don't. That's, it's a fair point.
I love a good bit of splatter. I mean, it's an unusual bit of splatter.
You take note, don't you?
Yeah. And please don't take me saying I like a unusual bit of splatter out of context, please, people. So
it's a soundbite if ever there was one.
Yeah, so Diamondback makes his play, and he's like, now he's in charge of everyone, and basically even tells Mariah that she's now working for him. She's going to, broker these deals for him and be the face for him, and that sets up future stuff too. So I feel like all on the Misty stuff, which was obviously very, very character focused and very character building, I feel like the episode as a whole didn't have a whole lot for us to sink our teeth into. It was a very, setting up a lot of stuff for next time. Although Diamondback was very effective in his 2 scenes.
It was very much moving forward towards the final act, kind of just getting things ready.
Yeah. I will say I did really like the scene where Mariah's talking to Cottonmouth's corpse in the morgue. That got surprisingly emotional, given that these are 2 villainous characters, but you felt the emotion as she was starting to talk about their past and how she was kind of raising him and all that, and about his parents and stuff that he didn't even know about his parents. So really well done.
That's very good. I think in general, I'm impressed with Diamondback. Obviously, he had 2 very good scenes in this, but in total in the show, he's had less than 10 scenes, maybe 7 or 8.
Yeah, I think counting last episode.
No, I'm just guessing. It can't be more than that. And he's very well established that quickly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We get a very good idea of who he is, how much of a threat he is, what his kind of aims are,
And
and
Luke,
to a degree.
and Luke keeps mentioning that he's unstable. And he
Yeah,
says he thinks he's my brother, and I wonder if like, wait, is he not actually his brother, and he just thinks he is because he's that psychotic, or is he his brother and Luke doesn't know, so he just thinks it's as part of his delusion? You know, like,
it could be either at this point.
yeah, because the way we see him act, really, I mean, it sells me on the fact that he's insane.
But I also buy the fact that they could be half brothers.
Yeah, I could buy that too. But the thing that works about it though is we went from Cottonmouth to Diamondback. In Diamondback, it's almost like, yeah, Cottonmouth was evil and did a lot of evil things, but there was a structure to his chaos. There was like order and design. Whereas with Diamondback, it feels like going from a crime boss to the Joker almost. He's not like
It
the
does.
Joker exactly, but he's
It's the way he's come in. He's just kind of killed everyone off. It's like, nah, we're doing this my way.
yeah, he's
I do everything here.
yeah, he's more erratic than Diamondback than Cottonmouth was. And Cottonmouth, snapped and threw people off buildings and snapped and shot them in the face.
But you always understood why.
Yeah, you could predict
Like,
his actions a lot better.
Yeah, with Diamondback, like when he comes in and he kills everyone, it's a question of why. I mean, sure, you go, oh, okay, he wants to take over, but why not let them still run on his behalf like Cottonmouth did? Like, you have to there's no logical reason like there was with Cottonmouth.
Yeah, and I think just to sort of piggyback on your point, I think it's very impressive that we had a very well-established villain who we were enjoying as a villain be killed off halfway through for this new villain to appear, and in 2 episodes already feel like, no, this is fine. This is justified. You know?
Definitely.
So, no, credit where credit's due on that. So, yeah, that's been episode 9 of Luke Cage. There'll be more coming later. Thank you very much for watching. Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Helps us out a lot. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.